Welcome to the Clique podcast. I'm Dani, a mindset and manifestation expert and founder of the Clique, a company that helps women overcome their fears and limiting beliefs to create a life and business that they love. Within this podcast, I will help you get clear on what you want, identify the blocks that are holding you back, transform your mindset and raise your vibration so that you can co-create magic with the universe. If you are looking to design a life that truly sets your soul on fire and manifest more success and abundance, then you are in the right place. Let's talk about the fear. What I'm specifically referring to here is the fear of failure. So whether you are thinking about starting a business, maybe you're a new coach and you're just starting on that journey, how do you overcome the fear of failure? Because the fear of failure, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the thing that either causes people to give up on their dreams or maybe actually holds them back from even starting in the beginning. Or maybe is the thing that just makes getting to where they want to be a lot more difficult. You know, because whatever you believe, whatever you are thinking and focusing on, you're going to create more of. So if you're stuck in that fear of, I'm going to fail, this isn't going to work for me, it's going to take a lot longer for you to get to where you want to be. And this is why mindset is so important for getting anything that you want in life. You could be taking all of the action in the world, but if the back of your mind, you're telling yourself, this isn't going to work, I'm going to fail, then no amount of action is going to get you to where you want to be. So this fear of failure, is really something that everybody needs to work on at some point in their life. And I see this obviously crop up a lot with either women that are looking to start a coaching business, or maybe they're in their very early stages of being a coach, or it may even be women that are much more advanced in their coaching journey. You know, the fear of failure can crop up at multiple stages through the entrepreneurial journey. I have definitely had, even 1, 2 years, even 3 years into my business, had moments where I've felt, oh my goodness, is this going to work? Could I potentially fail at this? So it's not just something that happens once at the beginning. It's a fear that you may need to keep coming back to time and time again. So I want to go into how to overcome that fear of failure with anything in life, but specifically overcoming that fear of failure as a new coach, because I know a lot of ladies watching this are perhaps in that position where early coach or looking to pursue a coaching business. So let's start at the top then. And this is where I want to kind of actually say something that I think not a lot of people say. Like, a lot of people will assume that, you need to be fearless. You need to get rid of that fear. You need to, be able to release the fear entirely. And I think that is a really unrealistic expectation to put on ourselves. Fear exists for a reason. Fear is intrinsically linked with our ego. And our ego is not something we can just cut ourselves off from. In a lot of ways, our ego can support us. It's there to actually help us and protect us and to keep us safe. And so fear is, we don't want to get rid of fear entirely, because often fear is something that is required, perhaps even to keep us alive. So if we think about, the fear of doing something dangerous, if we didn't have that fear and we just put ourselves out there recklessly or took these really dangerous risks, it could actually cause us some serious damage. So fear in a lot of ways is there to protect us and can actually serve us. But the issue is for a lot of people, it can also be the thing that really holds them back and keeps them playing small. But it's not necessarily about getting rid of fear. And this is what I noticed when I first stepped into my business. I would see all of these other business owners around me and coaches that seemed to be fearless. When I looked at them, I was like, wow, they just seem to have so much confidence and so much self-belief, and they just don't seem to be scared of putting themselves out there, or scared of taking risks, or scared of starting. And what I realized when I started to really probe into their stories and, how they actually got started was that everybody has these fears to begin with. And it wasn't that they were fearless. It wasn't that they just didn't have any fears. They had the fears, but they didn't allow those fears to hold them back. So it's not about the absence of fear. It's not about trying to get rid of fear completely, but it's about ensuring that you are able to take action in spite of that fear. Okay? So that you can feel the fear, you can acknowledge it, but you're able to move through it and still move towards your goals and dreams. And a lot of people, when they kind of hear my story of becoming a coach and, taking that leap into my coaching business, they say, wow, God, you sound like you were really fearless. Absolutely not. I was petrified. I was absolutely terrified when I started my business. Like, making that decision to start petrified me. Telling people that I was going to become a coach petrified me. Quitting my job, oh my goodness, that absolutely petrified me. There's been, I'd say actually, a good chunk of the decisions that I've made as a coach and a business owner have petrified me. So it's not that I've got rid of my fear. I've just learned to live with the fear. I've learned to be comfortable in my fear. Okay, so you're not waiting for this perfect moment where all of a sudden you're going to be fearless and things just feel easy and you're just, you can take action and there's absolutely no fear at all. If you're waiting for that moment, you'll probably be waiting for a very long time. Because as I said, I think fear is such an innate part of human nature, something that we need in a lot of areas of our life. To get rid of it completely is just a high expectation, an unrealistic expectation. So it's, can you feel that fear but move on regardless? Now, linked in with this is the idea that often the taking action can be the thing that neutralizes your fear. So often we build things up in our heads to be far, far greater than what they need to be. We catastrophize things. We make things seem as if they're going to be a lot worse than what they actually are. We are far often so focused on things not working out versus things actually completely going in our favor. And this isn't something that we should beat ourselves up about. If you feel like you're always fearing the worst rather than assuming the best, know that that is just a part of human nature. It's something called negative brain bias. It's how we have been hardwired. So negative brain bias, I've spoken about this in podcast episode before, is essentially where back when we were living in caves, we had to be in that flight or fight mode. We had to constantly be in anticipation of something going wrong so that we were on our guard. So that, if the saber-toothed tiger came knocking at our door, we were prepared for that. We were expecting the worst so that we could, be in that fight or flight mode and be prepared. We don't have the same sorts of threats, but our brain still operates in very much the same way. We often are programmed or hardwired to expect the worst. And this is why most people, when they think about starting something new, they will spend more time thinking about that going wrong rather than that going right. Think about your own journey. How much energy do you think, or how much of your focus has been on this business will not work versus this business is absolutely going to work? Chances are, I'm going to put my money on that for most of you, you spent more time thinking about it not working versus thinking about it working. And the issue with that is obviously what you focus on, you're going to create more of. So if you're focusing on failure, you're inviting more of that into your experience. And failure might be failing by default. It might be, I don't even try. I'm so scared of failing, I don't even try. Therefore, I fail by default. There's a great J.K. Rowling quote, actually, that is something similar to that. Where you live life so cautiously, you don't try at all, and then therefore you fail by default. So where are you putting more of your focus? Is it on failing or is it on succeeding? I bet for most of you, your natural default response is to think more about failure. And as I said, that's fine. That's how we've been hardwired. But it just means that we need to take more of a conscious effort when it comes to thinking about what we actually want to happen versus what we don't want to happen, which I'll come back to in a second. But let's just think about action neutralizing fear. So as I said, we catastrophize things, but often once you take action, you realize that a lot of your fears actually don't play out. The fears of what could go wrong don't actually come into existence. And I see this so often, especially with our students in the Clique Academy, who tell me about the fears that they had about becoming a coach and how they put it off for months, if not years, before they actually got started. And once they took action, once they made that decision of, yes, I'm doing this. So maybe that decision was, yep, I'm going to do this. And they joined the Clique Academy, for example. They realized a lot of those fears that they had were not actually based on any truth. They didn't actually have any weight behind them. And once they said yes, and once they got started, those fears were gradually released. They started to realize that things weren't as scary as what they seemed. The thoughts of failure didn't seem as prominent. Okay, there was less of that fear of this not working out because they put themselves in the game. They'd made that decision, and all of a sudden things started to feel real. It started to feel more believable. Their dreams started to feel more believable. They were starting to make momentum. So action towards what you want is going to reduce the fear of that not working out. If you stay stuck, if you don't take any action and you're just sat in your head thinking about what could potentially go right or wrong, perhaps thinking more about what could go wrong than could go right. If you're stuck in that mode, if you're stuck in your head, fear is always going to seem a lot worse than what it actually is. So start taking action. Action will neutralize that fear. But going back to what I was saying about focusing, the more you focus on what you want and things working out for you, the more likely you are to get that. So, the best way to avoid failure is to actually spend more time thinking about everything succeeding for yourself. And this is where things like visualizing success can really be useful. So visualization is one of my favorite mindset tools that I use. I use it at multiple points in my life, in my business, and it's really, really served me well. Again, because of negative brain bias, our brain's automatically going to go to the negative. So when we think about, let's say you're thinking about starting a new business venture, because of how we're hardwired, our brain is automatically going to go to the negative, unless we are consciously and intentionally directing our thoughts somewhere else. So this is where tools like visualization can really help, because visualization provides you with an opportunity to be really intentional about what you want to experience. You're thinking about what you want versus what you don't want. And the more often you can start connecting with everything working out for you, you succeeding, you being the successful business owner, you being the successful coach, the more attention you start giving to that, the more likely you are to actually create that success. Okay, so you have to start visualizing your own success. You have to start seeing yourself rather than visualizing failure. Start visualizing everything working out for you. What does that look like? Get into the details. So maybe it's visualizing signing your first paid for client. Maybe it's visualizing handing in your notice for your job. Maybe it's visualizing you celebrating a specific milestone that you've achieved. And these visualizations, you can carve out specific time in your day for this, but you can also utilize dead space. Like, I try as much as possible to turn empty spaces in my day into a spiritual process or a mindset process. So it may be that I'm in the shower and I'm visualizing me being in my dream house, or me, being on a specific trip that I want to take, or me hitting a certain income milestone, or I may be doing something like relatively monotonous, like maybe it's like hanging my clothes up and putting them back in my wardrobe, rather than just allowing my thoughts to go wherever they choose. I am intentional about what I'm thinking. I'm visualizing things that I want. And that's a really important thing to remember, because often when we leave our minds to their own devices, they will often gravitate towards the negative. So things such as fear of failure, So it's about being intentional. Overcoming that fear of failure is knowing that you have a choice about what you are giving your attention to in any given moment. Okay, the fear might still be there below the surface, but you don't need to choose to focus on it. Okay, and the less you focus on it, the less it will become a part of your reality, a part of your physical reality. So how often are you visualizing your success? Do you make it an integral part of your daily routine? Are you allowing yourself to think about what life might look like if everything plays in your favor? What would you be experiencing? What would you be receiving? The more vividly you can visualize that, obviously, the less likely you are to feel that fear, but also the more likely you are to achieve whatever it is you're visualizing. And here's the thing, when you are visualizing, what is actually happening is you are telling your subconscious mind that this is my new truth. This is my new reality. The subconscious mind can't actually distinguish between events that you have imagined and events that have actually played out in reality. And there's so many experiments that have been done on this. A really good example is it was two groups where one group basically were given finger exercises to do. It sounds a little bit bizarre, but stick with me. They were given exercises to do. They were told to basically exercise their index finger, moving it around, wiggling it around every day, and doing that every day for 2 weeks. So we're given these exercises. And then another group were just told to imagine doing the same set of exercises with their finger. And although the group that did actually do the physical exercise, although their muscle mass in their finger increased more, what was really interesting is that there wasn't much difference between the group that imagined exercising their finger and the group that actually did the exercise. So the group that imagined, so they didn't actually do anything more with their finger, they just imagined wiggling their finger around, they actually saw when they did this experiment at the end of the 2 weeks, the muscle mass in their finger had increased just by the power of their mind alone. And what this shows you is that the subconscious mind, it can't distinguish between whether you've imagined doing something or whether you've actually done something. And why is that important? Well, it's important because your subconscious mind is dictating your physical reality. Anything that you experience in life is a product of your subconscious mind. So if you are tricking your subconscious mind to, okay, I'm already successful, I already have the successful business, I'm already the successful coach, you are going to start acting in line with as if that's already happened. You're going to start having physical experiences that align with this image. Your subconscious mind is saying, I already am successful, and that is what's going to start playing out in your reality. You will be successful. You will start to experience the things that are aligned with success. It's really, really amazing how this plays out. So visualization is a really important part of not only overcoming that fear of failure, but just making sure that you don't give yourself that option to fail. You've seen success so vividly in your mind that failure is no longer even an option. It doesn't even come on your radar. Now, something that I love to share with our students quite frequently is the importance of staying in your own lane. Now, this is particularly relevant. Let's say you're a new coach and you are looking at everybody else out there that already is successful. Now, for some people, that can be hugely inspiring. You see other people and you think, well, they've been successful. This is great. I can be successful doing this as well. But for other people, it can actually heighten their fear of failure because they start to think, well, there's so many people already out there doing that. Can I really also be successful in this? Look how great they already are. Is there room at the table for me to succeed? And it can actually increase that fear of failure because you are constantly measuring yourself against other people that already are successful. And you're always seeing yourself then as less than them. I don't know as much. I'm not as confident. I don't have those coaching skills yet. I don't have that amazing business yet. I don't have the follower count yet. You're comparing your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 100. And when you do that, it's always going to feel like you're in that position to fail because you don't know enough, you're not confident enough. You're always going to feel lesser than the other people that are out there. And if that's the case, if you find yourself in that pattern, you need to start staying in your own lane. Other successful people, they either inspire you or they derail you. And you need to know what your situation is there. And if they do derail you, if they do heighten your fear of failure, then you need to find a way to cut yourself off from the noise, to keep yourself focused on what you're doing without getting too distracted what other people are up to. Okay? So it might be things like stopping scrolling on social media. Stop looking at other people. If they're not inspiring you and making you feel better about your own journey, then simply cut it out from your view. Don't look at it. Okay, the amount of our students that have actually, they've completely quit looking on social media because they know that it doesn't serve them. They don't scroll through social media anymore and compare themselves to others because they know that makes them feel not good enough and it increases that fear of failure. But equally, you can see what other people are doing and it may be something that does inspire you. And actually, when we look at other people who are successful, we can use this as evidence that we are also capable of being successful, doing the same thing. If we take something like building a coaching business, the amount of times that people say to me, well, what if I fail at doing this? Well, if there's so many other people making a success at this and having these amazing businesses and working with clients and having people that want to invest in them, why is that not possible for you as well? I think it's completely different if you were to go and, let's say, build a business in something completely new that's never been done before, where you're not really sure that there's a market for it. But when it comes to something like coaching, it is one of the fastest growing industries. In fact, it's the second fastest growing industry behind tech. It is an industry that is worth over $1 billion in the US alone. More and more people now are looking to coaches for support, are investing in coaches. So when it comes to, am I going to fail as a coach? Take some reassurance in the fact that you are already stepping into a well-established industry, a tried and tested industry, an industry which has proven that there is a demand for. There's already hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people investing in coaches each year. So it's not like you're trying to reinvent the wheel here. It's not like you're bringing a completely new business model to the table and thinking, will this or will this not work? There are lots of examples of people who it is working for, who are hugely successful. So rather than seeing yourself as different, start to recognize that if it's possible for them, it is absolutely possible for you as well. Okay? So, overcoming the fear then, I'm glad that I've been able to chat with you guys about this today because honestly, 9 times out of 10, it's not your ability that is going to keep you stuck when it comes to creating success. It is your fear. It is your mindset. It's your beliefs around what is possible for you. And overcoming this fear is something that needs to take priority. You need to make sure that you've mastered a way to move through that fear. As I said, it's not about getting rid of it completely. It's about taking action in spite of that fear. And it's why we give so much emphasis in the Clique Academy to mindset. to your own mindset. So each week I'm connecting with our students on mindset calls, and we are working through those fears, because it's always going to be your fears. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be your fears versus your ability that's going to keep you stuck. So it's really important that, if you're not doing that work on yourself, you've hopefully got some sort of support and accountability that's going to help you move through those fears as well. So ladies, thank you very, very much for tuning in today. Hopefully this was helpful. I know it's a topic that comes up a lot for people that reach out to me. So yeah, I hope this gave you a little bit of guidance and support today. Enjoy the rest of your day, ladies. And yeah, I will connect with you again on the next episode. If you are wanting to build your own successful online coaching business, make sure to check out Freedom, Abundance and Impact, our free 10-day business and mindset course for coaches and aspiring coaches. To access, simply head to wearetheclique.com and click free course in the menu.